All right, hello everybody. Make sure this thing is good enough here. Welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are excited for today. So we got a good one here. I think this will help a lot of you guys out. Liz, hello. Welcome. I know you've been struggling. You've struggled with Google Page since you started 2 years ago. So excited you're here and we're happy to help you out here. We've got Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Joanne, Cynthia, and a few other people who are hiding in the shadows. Thank you guys for all being here. Yuki is off somewhere. He's doing something right now. But how have you guys' weeks been? How are we doing with your Google business pages? Are we getting reviews? Hey, Katie. Hey, Jerome. Welcome in. What's going on? It's Thursday, so it's a good day. I'm heading to a networking event after this. And actually next week, we'll be talking about networking and getting referral business through that. So next week's gonna be really fun. I'll be leading next week. So that'll be help you guys out a lot too. But yeah, how's everybody doing with their Google business pages? Are we getting reviews? Well, okay, You had one removed. That's good. It's good to get those removed. Are you the one that was mentioning that someone called about a lead or a service and you quoted a price and they didn't even agree to it yet? And then they left a poor review because of your pricing? Is that the one? Hey, Sharon.
All righty, I'm back.
Welcome, Yuki.
Hey guys, good to see you guys.
Okay, that wasn't you. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you were able to get that removed. You know, the other person, it is unfortunate because Google's rules. So technically, by their policy, he left an actual review, right? And it wasn't against their, it's not against their policy if they feel that they got a bad experience because your price was too high. It's so unfortunate, and the best we can do is to just offset it with more reviews because it's an average, right? So if you have 100 5-star reviews and one-star review, you're going to have an above 4 average, and that's what really matters. And I think somebody put an awesome reply that was very professional, and those are really helpful because people can see your responses. They want to see how you react, because how you react in a negative situation or an unfortunate situation really helps them to feel comfortable with working with you, because it gives them a chance to see, like, oh, if something goes wrong with my situation, how are they going to handle that? So it's always good to reply to bad reviews. I think bad reviews are an opportunity, so it's not the end of the world. You'll be able to get more 5-star reviews than those 1 stars for sure. Okay. Bling evening, Don. I always know when Don's in when I see a diamond in the comments. Bling evening. Hey, Jason.
Hey Jason.
All right. So let's
Okay,
get into this.
this is
Thank you guys
great.
all for being here. We appreciate you guys. And
Appreciate
it's
it.
so good seeing such familiar faces coming in. Yes, getting reviews and moving up on the Google list. I think William, if you guys saw the post from William Christensen, I think his last name is, he had this awesome post about how he put into action all the things that we taught last week, where he reached out to his direct network. I think he sent an email to 25 people, asked them for a review, and he got 5 people to leave him a review, which is amazing, just on an email, because emails are the worst converting kind of ways to ask. And so what he could even do to continue that is he could call those people that he sent an email to and just, say, hey, I just want to check in, how you been, just catch up on life, and make it not, just be interested in the person, and probably someone you haven't talked to in a while. And then somewhere in there, you can always be like, hey, I'm starting this new thing. It would help me out a lot if you would just leave me a review on my Google business profile. I'm trying to grow this and rank in the top 3. And they would love to help you, especially if it's people you already know and you've worked with. Those character-based reviews are great. It's like asking someone for a referral when you apply for a job. Of course, they're going to want to say something good about you because they want to help you. Jerry, this is, I think, my first time seeing you in here. Using ChatGPT to help me reply to the reviews on my Google business profile. That's awesome. I think that's really good too. ChatGPT is amazing. Cool. So let's get into this. I'm glad you guys are all here.
Hey Susan. Hey Kayla. Hey Don. We can definitely talk on those different items afterwards for sure.
The stamp of approval, Hall of Fame. Awesome. Well, cool. We got people struggling in, so let's get going. We got a good number here, 18. So Yuki.
Yeah.
Your slide. You want to go into this?
Yeah. So the theme of thank you guys for your patience. I was on the phone with the customer, but the theme of tonight's webinar is outbound marketing, and a lot of it's actually tips that I give to people who have a lead stream. So some of you guys have a Google business page, and maybe it's not gigantic, but maybe you're getting 5 appointments a week, right? 1 a day, right? And every now and then you have this opportunity to parlay that into a long-time customer or a repeat customer. And so it's important to be able to identify those opportunities. And in the meantime, if you are full-time at this and you just are very slow, your business is very slow, and you do have some time to go do some networking, Well, this is stuff that you can do actively in an outbound fashion as well. But so that's just kind of general intro. But let's just jump into this slide. So I guess there's one-time customers and then there's repeat customers, right? Just from a business standpoint. Obviously, you're a notary public who's doing a good service for the community, right? So you're helping everybody, but at the same time, if you're thinking about it from a business perspective, right, you're trying to identify people who might turn into repeat customers. Now, a lot of general notary work is tied to major life events that only happen once every however many years. People don't always need a notary usually, right? It's usually tied to some sort of a major life event. Maybe they haven't needed one in 10 years, but something happened and now they need one, right? So a lot of times you're not everybody's going to turn into a repeat customer because it's just this one life event that's calling for some sort of document that needs a notarization. But you will find yourself in situations with potential repeat customers. It's obviously better if they are calling you first. So let's say somebody finds you from an assisted living facility and they call you from your Google business page, right? And they're already asking you to come at this time, 3 o'clock, if you could meet me, this is my room number. And so if you're already being called out there, it's great to just network with the right people once you're already in the facility so that you can get some repeat business, which Jonathan actually has some experience with himself. Right, Jonathan?
That's right.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them about that real
Yeah. So
fast?
uh, as I've been a notary, right, and I think that, and I did a lot of general notary work. It's a big mix of escrow officers, estate planning attorneys, general notary work, and you just look for opportunities of somebody who might use this service consistently. And a lot of my repeat customers are, you would be surprised. I have a customer who they're a general contractor, and every month, like clockwork, they need 2 documents notarized. So they call me every single month to notarize 2 documents, and it's just something I can consistently rely on. And so that's what this whole section about this presentation today is. You're building this book of business that is consistent and steady, and it's just on repeat. It's almost like having a subscription. They're just always using you, and there's there's not like any specific way that you're finding them. It's just you're finding these opportunities by dropping in, visiting, and they come to like you, they come to know you, and they want to give business to you because again, notary work is a commoditized business. They could go to any notary, any UPS store. The product that we provide is exactly the same, regardless of who is notarizing the document. But the reason they use you and they choose to work with you is because they like you as a person. And with business, it's all about helping each other's businesses out. And so we'll talk more about this actually next week when we have our section on networking and referral, because it's in that section, I'll be talking more about how to give value to your clients, because that's what makes them want to give business to you back. If you're helping them, they want to help you whenever they have the opportunity, right? So I'll let you continue, Yuki.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thanks, Jonathan. And you actually having the experience on the ground, right? So it's super valuable that you share that. Awesome. Let's go to the next slide.
All right.
There. Okay. So asking them about.
I just skipped. Yeah.
I think we went to. Okay.
I'll let you click it.
Here we go. First category. So the first category, and there's different ways to think about it, right? As far as who's out there who might give you repeat business. This is just one way to kind of think about it, right? Just one mindset or organization strategy to it. But the first category could be people who need it themselves, right? So, and once again, this is more so for people who are getting. Let's just get in the comments. How many of you guys are getting at least a couple appointments a week from your Google business page or some other source? How many of you guys already have a little stream of business coming in? It's in the comments. Just let us know. But every now and then you're gonna come across a customer who may need you. A few from Facebook, Sarah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'd like to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you could tell us a little bit more, Sarah, about exactly how you did that, that's pretty cool. But oh yeah, Jason. I know I've talked to Jason. I know he gets like 5 to 10, depending on the week, mostly from his Google Business page. Kim, okay. So every now and then you find yourself in a situation where you're like, hey, I think this person might need a notary pretty often, right? Or they'll even tell you, like, my regular notary, Don, Google referrals notary near me. They might say my regular notary was out of town, or my regular notary just retired. So anytime you run into a situation like that, you really want to, build this relationship. So the second bullet here says long-term repeats versus short-term repeats. This is just a small, differentiation, a way to think about it, where you have the long-term repeats would be more like, let's say, business people or people who have a business or a life, in different countries, and they just as a family need, just different note documents notarized for different reasons. Um, or somebody just for whatever reason, like Jonathan mentioned, just has a personal need where they just need documents notarized twice a month or whatever the frequency is. And then you also have some short-term repeats, which is people who are going through some kind of a major life event where they might need a notary a couple times in a row, just related to this life event, whether they're going through some kind of a marital event, or maybe they're at the end of life stage and now they're getting a power of attorney done, and then a week later maybe they're also getting their will done, or just different documents that pertain to kind of like their end of life stage of life. Sometimes you get people who might need you a few times in a row, right? So that would be a short-term repeat, as far as someone who needs your services. Now, obviously, if you get someone like this from a Google business page, like you, Jason, like you, Don, and Kim, is you always want to shoot to turn them into a long-term customer, right? So you really just want to just be the best notary possible, show up early, offer to, if they need a scan or whatever it is that they need to make their life easier as a notary, as far as a professional, just offer it to them, right? Hold on, my dog's going crazy over here. Um, yeah, whatever it takes, right? Even if just to make it as convenient as possible for them. Like, do you need me late at night? Do you need me early in the morning? Just what we'll just do whatever is most convenient for you, right? You're trying to win them over as their go-to notary, right? Like concierge service, right? First class service. Now, once you're done with the appointment, right? So you obviously want to provide a professional appointment first. I'm getting cut off here. Now, after the appointment, I always recommend you approach them, right? And you have a conversation with them as far as, how do we turn this into a long-term relationship, right? So the most important thing, and it's not just about being buddy and having jokes, right? The number one thing actually is asking them about their professional needs. So that's how I would start the conversation, right? Jonathan, do you want to speak to that at all, as far as experience you may have had in the networking process?
Yeah, I mean, every appointment that I go to where it's like a business, I always ask, how often do you have this notarization here? And they'll either tell you, oh, not that often, or we get this every month, and so it's just easy to just ask them how frequently they come across those situations. Most of the time, I would say, oh, this is just a one-off thing, or they'll say those things, but whenever they end up needing you again, they end up just calling you anyways, just because the situation arises, right? But we'll talk about which industries we found are to be the most consistently needing of general notary work. But yeah.
Yeah. So let's start here at the top left, right? So after completing a successful appointment, the stage is set. And I just forget, Jonathan, with these slides here. Now you go to the right, right? So you can ask them directly if they have a regular need for a notary. I would just ask them, do you regularly need this service, right? So if they say yes, You can ask them if there's a certain thing that they look for in choosing a go-to notary. And it really depends, right? Jonathan, you told me all kinds of different stories about people who have different needs, that you've seen through Notary Pen, right? There was that one estate planning attorney who told you he needed it done at midnight sometimes because it would be an emergency situation. Or you remember what I'm talking about?
It was an emergency trust because he had a client who was nearing end of life, and to know that they can have someone to call who will respond to those kind of situations is really helpful. So it's a good way to stand out for sure if you're doing those kind of things.
Yeah. So just ask them what they need, right? It really depends on who it is. It really depends on if it's a business person or if it's some sort of a facility or so just ask them what it is that they need professionally as far as time wise, service wise. Maybe they need someone who can do translations as well. Just be an active listener, right? Really listen to understand their needs. And then if you can, so obviously if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't say, well, I'm available 24 hours, right? Because you're not, right? But if you are willing to wake up in the middle of the night and go to one of these appointments like Jonathan was asked to go to, then make sure you assure them that you can fit their needs on a professional level. If they always need scan backs, they need a notary that has, Will was talking about the fact that he has a mobile scanner and that a lot of his clients like that. If that is what they're asking for, and don't just tell them I can do it if you don't have the mobile scanner, right? But if you do offer that, let them know, okay, well, I will do that for you every single time, right? You're just trying to win them over professionally, right? You're just the most professional notary that they need for their specific needs. With that, you always want to leave them with your card. So you always want to carry your card to every single appointment, right? Just in case this opportunity arises. You don't want to be caught unprepared. And then there's a final tip here that sometimes people are against, right? So it's up to you whether you go for it or not. But I always recommend giving a big incentive to win the second appointment. And I think that leads us to our next slide, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, and I wanted to mention something to go along with that too.
Yeah.
So don't get too caught up on getting a return on that investment, right? So sometimes you'll go to an appointment, you're like, oh, I don't know if it was worth my time doing all of this stuff because you went above and beyond, right? You went out late at night and you felt like you should have charged more. Don't worry about that because these clients have a lifetime value now, right? If they're repeat, they're going to be sending you business consistently, and now the value of that customer is no longer this one appointment, it's multiple appointments over a lifetime. And so you want to go above and beyond. You think of it as like a marketing cost to yourself that you actually didn't have to pay any money up front. It only cost you some time, which is just super easy way to get the business recurringly. And so Yuki was talking about offering a discount before. I think you had that on another slide, huh?
Yeah. So, well, this is the slide. No. Actually, that's yeah.
This one?
So the importance of the second appointment, right?
Yeah.
So the most important thing is getting that second appointment as far as turning them into a regular. It's not getting the third. It's not getting the fourth.
I'm sorry if this text is so small.
But I'll tell you, it's further down as far as these bullet points. But there was a study done, right, by a marketing company, and they were studying diners or restaurants and how like what's the chance that one customer is going to become a repeat customer, a lifelong customer with a lifetime value, like Jonathan just mentioned, right? And they found that like if you had only dined there, it was your first time, maybe there was like a 9% chance you would come back and become a regular. And then if you come back a second time, it jumps huge. It goes to like 60 or 70% chance that you're going to become a regular. And then the third one it's a little jump, and then the fourth one's a little jump. But the idea is that as long as you get them for the second time around, the chance that they'll become a regular increases exponentially. It's huge. So you just got to get them for the second time, right? So think about it as maybe I'm not going to make as much money. I'm going to do a big discount, but I'm going to get them for the second time. And on the second time, you'll really impress them, right? You'll be a professional. You'll show up on time. You'll do exactly what they had asked you to do the first time when you got to know their professional needs. And now you have a customer for life. what you want to tell them, basically what the bullet points are saying here is you want to just assure them that whatever they need, you can provide. So like Jonathan said, if it's a client who needs you late at night, maybe you don't want to go, but you want to impress them. So you say, you know what, I can make it out late at night the next time you need that service, the next time they need that service, right? So the next time this emergency estate planning attorney, was it basically, Jonathan, needed your service late at night, you were able to provide a solution just as promised, right? And if you offer a discount on top of that, they'll remember you to book that. And then from there, you have a customer for life. Yeah.
Right,
And then,
because price
yeah,
isn't always the reason people make decisions. You know, they want certainty of the service. So you're giving the discount the second time just to show how reliable you are.
yeah,
After that, they don't really care about the pricing or the discount. They just want to use somebody who they know is going to be reliable because you showed up for them twice now, right?
yeah.
And so a majority of people, if they make a second purchase, they become
Yeah.
recurring clients. So this
That's
is why you want to have a second appointment.
That's a great point. It's really an opportunity to showcase your service and really win them over. But that just made me realize, usually when I make this recommendation, I'm like telling somebody who got the lead from like a Google Business or a Google ad lead, right? But actually, and now if you're listening out there and you just don't have any leads coming in and you're just thinking about how do I do outbound marketing and how do I approach other businesses to get my name out there because there's literally nothing coming in, then this would be, you would offer a cash incentive like, or a discount incentive like that for the first appointment, just to win the first appointment. You would say, just basically you're just trying to win them over. You're telling them, hey, let me win your business. Let me do the next one at $50 off, just so that it's a no-brainer to do it with me, and I'm going to show you incredible service, and then you're going to become a regular of mine, right? And you just be honest with them that you're trying to win their business.
And they love that. It's
Yeah.
good to hear when somebody really wants a business because that means that they're really going to want to do a good job for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and just be honest about it, right? Really, really do provide a good service. That's number one.
Great.
So, getting to know them on a personal level too, right? So obviously the professional thing is number one. If you can't provide them the professional service that they need, or the things that they need professionally, right? Whether that's a certain timeline or someone who's certified to do a certain category of document, someone who also does fingerprinting. I don't know, right? It really depends on the client, what they need, right? But as long as you can provide what they need professionally, it's all, you also want to get to know them on a personal level, and become their friend, right? Jonathan and I have been working professionally. That's what got us started. But by now we're buddies, right, Jonathan? Yeah. By now we're friends.
I call him.
Yeah.
I call him. I pick up the phone. I'm like, my brother. And we actually
Exactly.
kind of look alike too. Like everybody thinks we're actually brothers, especially when I put my glasses on.
Yeah. So you want to ask them about their personal likes and interests, whether it's food, hobbies, sports teams, or family. This is just with any professional connection, right? With Jonathan, we have certain interests that we share, about maybe travel or whatever it is, and then maybe if I'm talking to an older client, maybe the connection that we have is something about our kids or something about family, and so it just depends on who it is, right? Or if it's someone from your hometown, and there's you just never know what the connection is. But just be genuine person, and just genuinely become interested in the other person. I think that's like a Dale Carnegie principle as well. And Jonathan, you want to talk about any little gifts? Because I know you were out there, because the next little bullet point here says, "Don't break the bank."
Yes.
Being
Yeah.
thoughtful.
So
Doesn't
my
have to be
recurring clients,
expensive.
I do like giving them gifts or showing them some sort of appreciation for the business that they've been giving me. And it's more of just a thank you in relationship and these thoughtful things because you're talking to them, you're learning about their lives. Like I know my kids have clients or not. I mean, if my clients have kids or not, I know if they've been going on vacations or, you're following them on social media and you see they did a marathon. I was like, oh, how was that thing? And then actually become their friends, right? And again, business is about sharing the business to the people around you. It's a communal thing, and you end up just passing the business around to each other.
Yeah, a lot of times, escrow agent or anything or anybody, right? A signing service, you give the lead to a family member, right? Or a
Right.
cousin, or,
I
yeah.
don't know if you guys are, how many of you have direct escrow officers, but some of them have family members that are notaries. And I'm the backup to their family member because they are sending the business to them first, obviously, because it's their family, right? But you're just wanting to get into the network because, and realtors are good with this. Loan officers are really good at this because they understand that there's so many realtors around. There's so many loan officers around, but it's mainly about referring business to people you like and you want to work with consistently. And so it is really important for you to be personable and get to know people and just be a friend, you know. And what we have a slide actually talking about how to actually get to them in office and drop in and become friends with people. So yeah.
Yeah. So as far as don't break the bank,
Oh,
maybe
right.
you guys maybe me and Jonathan had a good conversation about tacos, right? And he's like, "Oh, you know a good taco spot?" And I tell him, "Well, I'm half Mexican. Of course, I know a good taco spot, right?" And then next time I see him, I bring him some really good tacos he's never tried before, something like that, little stuff, little things.
Something that actually relates to them. I have an escrow officer who I know loves tulips, so I'll bring her in tulips. And it's just, these things are super personal, right? It's not like you're bringing in snacks every single time, and it's just everybody does those things, but no, very few people actually get to know the person on a personal level. And you can do these little gifts. You don't have to spend $100. Just different gestures help a lot, and they go a long way, right?
Yeah. So definitely make that personal connection. And remember, the most important thing is getting that second appointment and making an incredible second impression on that second appointment, right? So really, remember this person. You don't want to show up and forget things that they had already told you, right? So get that second appointment, wow them both times, right? The first appointment and the second appointment, as long as you can deliver twice and be a professional, and provide them with the service that they need. You're going to be getting regular clients, very easily. Yeah.
So I think we should actually go a little bit out of order here, Yuki, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So second, actually we're almost there. So this will be the next thing we talk about. So the second category, professionals who need it for clients.
Yeah.
So we had two categories, right? We already talked about this one. We talked about the first being,
the first category is people who need it themselves, right?
the individual, the person who's actually paying for your service. That's first category.
For their first.
Second category is someone who is hiring you for someone else to pay for your service.
Yeah.
You guys are so familiar with this because escrow officers do this. They're actually not your customers, but they are your customers. So escrow officers are hiring you, but their client is the one paying for it. Similar to an estate planning attorney. They're usually the ones to call you, but their clients are the ones that are paying for it most of the time. So second category are people who have the potential to bill you regular jobs, and professionals whose clients need documents notarized. And then you have professionals in certain fields who aren't notaries themselves, but work with clients in situations where they constantly come across documents that require notarizations.
So let's all pause for a second. I just wanted to ask the chat over here and ponder. It's a small group, but if everybody can answer, maybe we'll find some things we didn't even think about. What types of other professionals are out there who have clients that need documents notarized? The easy one is attorneys, right? Obviously, attorneys have their clients who have documents that need notarizations. What else have you guys seen? What are the types of professionals out there have clients who need notarization?
Yes, that's great. Who can you guys think of? And this is an exercise to get you guys thinking too, like where are notarizations coming from?
Boom, retirement homes.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah. Social work.
That's a good one too. Oh, sorry, Yuki.
Oh, you got it.
Social workers at hospitals. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, you'll see this happen. Realtors are contacting for their clients. Not always escrow. Escrow handles the actual transactions, but there's times where they need certain documents for the realtor is trying to problem solve too and help them get it closed.
Yeah. Bail bondman, Joanne, great answer.
Yep.
Jason, law firms, care facilities, schools, UPS. Yeah, we're
Yes.
getting all of them. Yeah. Schools, Kim, labs, Jason, people traveling out of the country, Kayla, absolutely.
Great.
Yep. Schools, yep, absolutely. Yeah. So you guys already know. You guys already can ask yourself the question and find the answer within you and your experiences and what you've already seen. As far as our slide here, I mean, you guys got most of it. Jonathan, you want to?
Yeah. So again,
Yeah.
you guys are most familiar with escrow officers. We already know those. Attorneys, estate planning, and family law have the most consistent needs for notarizations. Obviously, you guys know about trust and wills; those get notarized. Family law, a lot of times prenuptial agreements need 4 copies notarized. There's 2 signers, so that's 8 notarizations in an appointment. And general contractors is another one. If they're working with the government, a lot of times the government wants a notarized document for a request for payment. Auto dealerships is a good one.
I didn't know this one until Jonathan
Yeah.
told me earlier, actually.
So a lot of times auto dealerships have notaries on staff. Sometimes they don't. And the reason they would need a notary is because if they're selling a vehicle, you either have to notarize the title or they have to notarize like a proof of loan fulfillment that it's been paid off, or they're notarizing an affidavit stating the odometer reading when it's sold. So they're saying this is how much the miles were on the vehicle when it was sold, and it's true and accurate. So those situations. And impound lots are a good one. I don't know if you guys have ever had this situation, but a vehicle gets impounded and the clients or the person can't get the vehicle out because it's under their parents' name, right? And so they need their parents to notarize a document to release the vehicle to their child. And, it's a weekend. Let's see, a lot of people go out and drink on Friday nights and it got towed. And then Saturday morning, they're like, where's my car? And no notary offices are open. Where do I go for this? They have to call a mobile notary. And a lot of the time, the impound lots are the ones that are telling them, oh, yeah, I can't let this go to you. You have to get this document notarized. So if you're building a relationship with these impound lots, they can refer you to get those documents notarized for them. And more. And so we discussed a bunch of different ones. The schools, very interesting. That's a good one. And again, like you have these healthcare facilities. Usually they're referring you to residents or patients or whatever that is. Door knocked at a AAA location yesterday for
Love
people
that.
in the office. So this is
That's
perfect.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Suits.
the spirit. Yeah. That's how you get the business.
This one's interesting. Tiny home company makes sense. And again, there's just lots of businesses that need it. You don't really know. You just have to keep going around and finding out. HOAs need it sometimes. Businesses need it. A lot of what's it called? Commercial real estate. They'll do something called SNDA. It's like a subordination and something non-disclosure agreement. Maybe I don't know, but basically they have to renew those every year for the tenants of that property. So there's lots of situations. And again, your goal, everybody looks at the escrow officer because they're sending so much business, but you could build the same amount of business by gathering a bunch of little ones, right?
Yeah. We're showing you general notary work leads, right? So everybody's going out. Obviously, loan signings is such a huge side of the business, and everybody is very well trained on how to go after those. But these are some that are a little bit more out of the box, especially the attorneys, right? Jonathan, you were saying that would probably be the easiest place for people to get started.
Yeah, I mean, attorneys have a need for it always. They have trust and wills. Those are getting, and I've mentioned this before. We're hitting the age of baby boomers, and they're all creating trusts, and it's becoming more of a common thing, especially in California, because every home is around $1 million. Upwards of definitely over $500,000. And the way probate works is, if the house goes into probate, it's going to cost about 5% for the family to go through the whole probate process. And so if the home is $1 million, that's $50,000 it would cost to go through that process. and people would create an estate plan for $5,000, a fraction of the cost, 10%, and then they can pass off that 45,000 to their family instead. So we're seeing a lot more people doing estate plans. There's companies like online estate plan companies now that are creating drafting trusts and wills digitally. So the estate planning place, I'm sure you guys are very well aware that that's a big spot also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So office drop-ins. So this is something that makes a lot of people nervous, right? How many of you, show of hands, know that you should be going into offices? You should be, meeting escrow officers and stopping into these estate planning attorneys, and it makes you so nervous. It makes you clammy. You should do it, but you don't want to do it, so you avoid it at all costs. And I'm the same way. I didn't want to do this. I don't like sales, and because I felt like I'm trying to ask for something, right? And some of you have issues with asking for reviews, but the reason you have this thought is because you're trying to get something, and you're seeking an outcome. You want them to give you business. And so if you look at this third thing, I said surrender the outcome. So we want to surrender that thought completely, because that's not what we're doing here. Yes, it is nerve-wracking. And you're focusing, the reason it's so nerve-wracking is because you're focusing on yourself. So again, notary work is a commodity. They need you when they need you. There's a lot of notaries. So if they have a go-to notary already, that's fine, because that notary is going to be unavailable at some point. And so you're a backup option, right? And that's okay. I'm okay with that. And you're just simply letting them know that you're available when they need it. Hey, I live around the area. I'm a mobile notary. I'm full-time. I just zip and zap around the city. And I just wanted to stop by, introduce myself, and let you know if you ever need anything, I'm here to help. So you surrender the outcome. You don't ask them for the business specifically. You're just letting them know you're available. And you want to lead with service. You're there to help them. You're not there to get business. You're there just to help. You're just offering help. If you need it, great. If you don't need me, no problem. And eventually you're going to get so comfortable with this, you're already driving all around the city. You'll see, oh, hey, there's an escrow office here. I never seen that before. I'm just going to stop in, say hi, and leave some cards. Hey, there's a estate planning attorney office there. I'm going to go in. Hey, I'm by the dealership. Let me just stop in here. And you'll go to the same places consistently. And the next time you go there, you just drop back in again and you say, hey, do you remember me? I stopped by maybe about a month ago or a couple weeks ago. I just wanted to say, hey, how you're doing? Just let you know I'm around if you need anything. Leave your card somewhere. And that's it. Super simple. You don't have to bring in donuts and candy and stuff like that. Honestly, doing those kind of things is, yes, it makes you kind of stand out, but also it's like they kind of feel awkward because it feels like they now need to give you something back too, right? But just be friendly on a personal level. I used to actually do this where I made a Google spreadsheet and I would write down all the locations I visited and the name of the person that I talked to and what their role was, like if they were the front desk person or whatever. So I'd come in and let's say it's an escrow office and there's someone at the front desk, and this makes everybody nervous. Oh, there's a gatekeeper. First thing, they're not a gatekeeper. They're a human being. They're a person. We don't want to treat them as separate ways. You don't want to hold someone on a pedestal. You go in and say, hey, I'm Jonathan. Are you an escrow officer here? And usually they're like, no, I'm the front desk. My name is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, great. I just want to stop in, introduce myself. I live around the area and just want to give you some cards. If you need anything, give me a call. And, ask them, how's your day going? Be conversational. Usually something's going on with the weather. Hey, you hear about that hurricane? How was that for you guys? Yes, they are a human person. This one's interesting. I've called so many offices, it's hard getting past we are all notaries here. A lot of times super rude. I feel like they stop listening at this point. Once I get comfortable responding to this question, it will be easier for me one step at a time. Yes, you will run into places a lot where they say, we're all notaries here. But I'm assuming you're talking about a law office. And that's very common. They're all notaries. They're all paralegals. They have it. And you say, oh, great. I totally know most attorney offices are all notaries. But if you're ever in a situation where, let's say you have someone who is immobile, right? Maybe they're in a hospital and they can't make it to you. I'd be happy to drive to them and get these documents notarized and signed. If it's on the weekend or in the evenings, I work 24/7. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm available at all times of the day. And so for those situations where they can't come to you, I'd be happy to help them out. And that's it. Leave it at that. Again, you're not trying to convince them to use you. You're just saying, just in case, if you ever do have that situation, I'm here to help. And yes, Jason, they're a human person, not gatekeeper. And especially when the sign says no soliciting. Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I'll even if the sign says no soliciting, I'll still drop my cards in and say, hey, sir, they might say, hey, you can't solicit here. And I'm like, okay. And then you just walk away. That's it. No harm. It's not like they're going to call the cops on you. They're not going to arrest you. Yeah, that's it. And there's so many places you can just move on to the next one, right? You'll get that. There's some people that just don't want to be solicited to, and that's okay.
Yeah, and then if you are able to talk to the person who is in charge of scheduling a notary, if there is a person like that in whatever office you're in, whether it's a law office or anywhere else, that's when you have that conversation as far as what are your professional needs, XYZ. So yeah. So we get to our third categories here, and that would be facilities that have patients. There's so many of these that we could probably call this its own category, which is why we have it listed here as a third category. But basically, I forgot someone in the comments had said it earlier too, with I forgot which type of medical facility they put, but when people are at the end of life stage, they do end up needing to get their affairs in order, and they have all kinds of different documents that they need notarized, right? So where would you find patients like that, folks like that, right? Assisted living facilities, rehab centers, hospitals, hospice care, and more, right? Outside of these categories, has anyone out there been called to a different type of medical facility? Urgent care, Cynthia, great point. I have heard a few urgent care calls come in from the ads.
Yeah, and while you guys are commenting on that, like what other places, these ones I think are the easiest ones because it's usually situational. Obviously attorneys and escrow officers are getting marketed to by other notaries, so they know that you want their business.
Yeah.
A lot of these places, you're mainly just talking to the front desk and being a resource. You're just it's like getting added to a vendor's list. And I feel like a lot of these places aren't getting hit.
Yeah. Now, if you're getting called out there, it's a lot easier, right? Like, let's say you do have a nice medium Google business profile going, and you get a call to some local assisted living facility, and they're calling for you. So you get to the front desk, and they're like, "Who are you here for?" Mrs. Johnson, room 304. And they're like, "Oh, okay, she's waiting for you," and they already know you're coming, right? So then you go in, you do your appointment. You're friendly with everybody, with the whole staff, right? And then you come back, and then at the end, you maybe leave some business cards with the front desk, right, Jonathan?
Mm-hmm.
So that's always, so if you're getting called out there, it's an especially golden opportunity. You just have to not fumble it, right? So just interact with the staff and let them know that you're available as a professional, and you're good to go.
Yeah. And sometimes when you do get leads from this, like let's say it's a assisted living facility, right? And you stop by, you left business cards with that front desk person, and you got a call. Oh, I got your number from the front desk about blah 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 blah. When you go in there, bring them something, just to thank them for that, and they're gonna want to keep referring you business from there because it's like, oh, he gave the service that this customer was looking for. They feel good because now they helped that patient because they gave a recommendation and it actually worked out. So they're going to want to keep sending you business because they know that you're going to fulfill the service that they are offering.
Yeah. So after you do finish doing the notarization, with the patient in whatever room they're in, when you do get back to the front desk, have that conversation. Is that the right person, Jonathan? You would say, yeah. Right? That's what you had mentioned to me earlier. The person
usually the front desk on these places is the one that's going to be giving out your information.
So you would ask that person, like, is this a situation that happens here often at this care facility where your patients need notaries? They're going to say, yeah. I mean, probably, right? Most likely. You're going to say, well, do you guys already have somebody? Maybe they have somebody, right? Do you guys already have somebody that you go to for those situations? And they're probably going to say no, right? Usually they find someone themselves on Google. And then you just ask permission, right? Would it be okay if I left some cards with you just in case, for the next time I already know, and then ask them what their professional needs are, right? So, what do you guys need? Are there certain visiting hours? Do you need someone who is vaccinated for certain things? Whatever it is that they need, you just want to get a list and then really try to win their business. So do your homework before you get there. There's a little.
Oh,
Oh,
you
there.
froze.
Okay,
Oh,
here we
here
are.
we go.
Do your homework before you get there. If it's a big care facility or something, maybe they have a website. Maybe on their website it has a page about their staff and the different people there who might be relevant to you, right? So to do your homework and then show up, and then you just never know who you're going to come across. But if you already know who you're looking for, who's the director of that hospice, or who's the director of that rehab center, and you see their face, it's just good to have done your homework a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I
So
would
this
do.
is awesome. Kim, if you could write in the chat how you came across this attorney for the first time, that would be good to know. So Kim says, I have an attorney who has me meet him at a client's homes a few weeks after a spouse dies to update estate plan. Perfect.
So what usually happens in those, this is great. Thank you, Kim, for reminding me, because this reminded me of something I forgot to say earlier. But in that case, right, so he's sending you probably to the home of that client, and you're doing the appointment with that client. A lot of times the attorney's not even there. After the appointment is done, you're done serving that client, you want to call the attorney and have a conversation afterwards. I don't know, unless you guys already have a relationship, but if it's someone who you guys don't really have a working relationship yet together and you guys just kind of met, you want to call him afterwards and then ask, what are your professional needs? Do you have other clients like this? Yeah, maybe
Yes.
he's,
And
yeah.
for this case thing with Kim, it's someone she's already worked with. It sounds like
Okay.
the attorney is meeting with her at the clients.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So it's
There
consistent.
you go.
But again, that's a repeat customer.
It's
So that's
great.
wonderful. And he probably calls you because you're reliable. He knows that he can just get it scheduled and you'll be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Bonus category. Jonathan.
Bonus category. So I've seen some of you mention this, the UPS store, postal annexes, banks. So you might be thinking, why would we go to these places? They already have notaries, obviously, right? But as you guys know, not every place is open 24/7, or they're only open Monday through Friday during business hours. I love it. Shelly, yes, I hit them yesterday. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
And
Shelly.
I went to a UPS store nearby, and not all of them are successful, right? I went to there and I said, hey, if you guys, do you guys need to ever get requests from mobile notaries outside of your office here? And then they're like, oh yeah, we have 2 notaries here. We always, and then I was like, oh, well, what about like if it's outside of office hours, or they can't come in? And she goes, oh, I can do it myself. I'm also a mobile notary. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And that's it. And you move on. And then, well, I asked like, well, can I leave you some cards? And she goes, oh, well, you'll have to ask the owner about referring business. And it just happens. That's just, people will give you the runaround. It's okay. But there will be some people for sure where they're like, oh yeah, leave me a couple cards. If we need you, we'll give you a call. And then that's it. Again, you're not trying to win the business. You're just letting them know you're available, because they'll keep it somewhere. And when that situation happens, you'll be there because they know that you stopped in and you let them know that you're available.
Yeah.
So with these places, you're playing the second option, right? So you're not trying to win all of their notary business. You're just playing, I'm just another option. I'm here in situations where they really need it. You're not available. If a customer asks for a mobile service, I'm nearby, I'm around.
Yeah. For those of you guys who get Google business calls, I'm sure every now and then you've heard the occasional call where they say, I'm in front of the UPS store. They just told me that they can't do my type of document, which is why I'm calling you, right? They're not even calling you because of the mobile aspect. It's more so the fact that the UPS store said that they won't do this particular document, or that notary is not there at that time. And it's an odd time of day, or it's the weekend. So if you leave your cards with the UPS store, and even the banks, like Chase or wherever, a lot of times they will happily refer refer you, if they don't want to take care of that particular customer.
Yep. So I love this. They can't notarize everything. Yep. So some banks have policies that they only notarize bank-related documents. Or I talked to somebody who works in a bank. She's a bank manager, and she said, "Yeah, customers come in with like in vitro, using my eggs kind of stuff, and we're like, oh, we don't notarize those." So I've done notarizations in a bank before, and they have a notary on staff. So they're like, "Hey, can you meet me at the bank?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." So, you can always just be another resource. That's all you're doing. You're just being a resource for them. It's just being an option because we're a commodity. That's how it works. All right. And
Kim,
then,
I understand what's going on now. I didn't understand earlier. So I guess you have a attorney who your mom works with. Awesome. And so he has you do this you said every time that a spouse dies to update their estate plan. That's awesome. That's an example of a great lead, right? Every time they get a client, they need you as well. Could you tell us in the chat more or less how many appointments that leads to any given month, more or less? That'd be interesting to know.
yeah, while you're typing that out, so this comes to, I think, our last slide here. Oh, close. Yeah, it's basically our last slide. So you want to make a plan when you're doing direct outbound marketing, and it depends, your plan needs to fit based on you. How are you feeling about going direct? Like I mentioned, if you're someone who's very nervous and has a hard time doing these kind of things, you probably don't want to go straight to an escrow officer or an estate planning attorney, because that they have notaries they work with and things like that. I would start with the ones that get hit the least. Like, I would go to these nursing home facilities and rehab facilities. And again, like I like going to these ones as one of the first two, because you already know they have a notary. It's very obvious, right? And it'll actually get you in that momentum of getting rejected, because obviously, like, oh, we have notaries. And you're like, yeah, I know. Just in case you need one that's mobile, here you go. And you
And
just
not everybody's going to say yes. Most people are going to say no, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, most people are going to say no. But again, you're just getting your name out there, and they're going to run into situations where they're like, "Oh man, I'm so glad that notary came in, because now I need a notary that's mobile." And they didn't think they needed it, but because these situations it happens with life events, right? Nobody really knows when it's going to happen. The only ones that know it's going to happen are like escrow officers, estate planning attorneys. So those are the ones that's why everybody focuses on them, because they know they're consistent. But if you go to the ones that are surprise ones, a lot of people aren't marketing to them. I think it's easier to do it that way.
Yeah, I would say the easiest thing, if you have the time, make a list of all the UPS stores in your radius, take your cards, walk in, ask, who's in charge of notarizations here, or who would I talk to about notarizations? And they're going to bring out the right person, right? And then you can say, hey, I understand you guys offer notarization services here at the UPS store. I have clients myself who've used your services, or I've used your services, but I know sometimes there's certain documents you don't cover. For those situations, is it okay if I leave some cards with you? Simple as that, right? And then somebody, maybe 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 is going to say yes, but somebody will say yes. Kim says here that one estate planning attorney gives her about 5 or so appointments a month. Charges $100 plus signature, so it's at least $500. So this is a perfect example. You could say, one lead source or one professional relationship could lead to about $500 worth of business any given month, right? All you would need is 10 relationships like that, to have $5,000 of recurring, dependable lead flow coming from that. So this is very powerful, you guys. So I would start with the UPS store, like Jonathan was saying, and the banks. I talked to a notary one time who walked in at Chase at like the same plaza. He was living in the same plaza that was like a shopping / residential plaza. And he found out that they didn't do notarizations, and he just mentioned that he was a notary, and now they send people his way, every so often. So
FedEx is a good one. FedEx doesn't have notaries, right? So it's like, I'm for sure they have customers coming into FedEx to ask to notarize documents.
yeah.
Like, no, we don't. But there's actually a local mobile one. Maybe if you give them a call, because sometimes they're in urgent situations. Like, oh, I need to get these documents shipped, but I need to get it notarized. Who do I call? FedEx guy, here's a mobile notary.
Yeah.
Um,
Not one answer is the right for everybody. So, for example, if you happen to have experience working in a law office, right? Maybe you're going to want to start approaching the attorneys first because you speak their language, right? Or maybe you have experience working in some kind of a healthcare facility. Maybe you speak that language. So it might depend on your personal experiences, but a good easy place to start is the UPS store, FedEx, the banks, and then try to start networking with facilities, so healthcare facilities. If you know of some assisted living facilities or rehab centers in the area, you can make a visit there. And then, all this would take you is, just do it. If you don't have the time, just do it every once a week, but just do it, just get started with it. And you never know when you're going to strike lucky and someone's going to start sending you, 5+ appointments a month.
and you can start with your own places you already frequently go to, right? I'm sure you go to a FedEx or a UPS store already on your own. When you return your Amazon packages that you were like, oh, I don't want this one, so you go to the UPS store to return it. That's a perfect place to ask. Your own local bank, you can go there. It's a lot easier because it's, hey, I'm a customer, but hey, I have a mobile notary business. Do you guys ever have needs where you can't notarize a document because it's against your policy, or they're asking for a mobile service? Let's see. Yeah. From what I understand, banks used to have notaries, but not so much anymore. This is what I've been finding too. A lot of banks are seeming to have it less because it is kind of inconvenient and it takes up the teller's time from servicing other customers. Sometimes customers will bring in full estate plans or loan documents to try to have the bank notarize, or it just takes up too much time. There's been situations where I've had like 2-hour appointments, and yes, COVID definitely made that happen, right? You would have to schedule an appointment with the notary there. So I think banks are a really good place to hit. I did want to mention there was something about we were talking about. Sorry, it was in the previous slide. We were talking about this one. We were talking about surrendering the outcome with this. God, I'm blanking. I forgot it. Oh well.
I think we covered everything for the most part.
Yeah, there was something I wanted to mention specifically. Even if, I think I was talking about. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. So this is for the people who are super nervous about this kind of stuff, right? How many of you? Does anybody have a birthday that's coming up soon? If you could type in the chat, when's your birthday? One of your guys' birthday. I want to know. You don't have to give me the year. I don't need to know your age. You just give me a month and date. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to tell you guys the super secret trick because I was super nervous. Oh, so look, Cynthia's got a birthday coming up. Katie's got a birthday coming up. Sarah, yours just passed. Shelly's got a little while now. She's got half a year now. So this is something I did because I was so nervous to walk into escrow offices, right? And again, I focused on leading with service and focused on the other person and giving them a situation or something giving them an experience that they would enjoy. So on my own birthday, I went around and I went to Party City. I bought a cowboy hat and I bought cupcakes to just hand out and not ask for business. I just literally walked in and said, I got this cowboy hat that says, "It's my birthday." And I'm walking in with cupcakes. And as soon as I walk in, I see everybody just go, "What?" They're just like so surprised and they're smiling. And I said, "Hey, it's my birthday. I just wanted to come in and see if I could round up some escrow officer friends." And the reason I did this is because I get to hide behind these cupcakes. It's my birthday. Who can be mean to me on my birthday? And it ended up being the most fun thing I'd ever done. And I went into 10 different escrow offices in one day, just going around giving out cupcakes because it was just a really fun thing for me. I get to give and spread joy. So if you go in that level of, right, you're not focused on yourself, you just go in and give to them. And of course I mentioned, yeah, I'm a mobile notary, but it's my birthday and I just wanted to spread some joy on my birthday and give you guys a gift. And I got 3 escrow officers from doing that. I get one that still uses us to this. Actually, they all use us still to this day, um, and they were just like, that was such a fun thing, and it totally made you memorable. So if you guys have a birthday coming up, I suggest doing that. If you're nervous, just go out, give cupcakes for your birthday or something like that. If it's not your birthday, you could also say it's your birthday, even though it's not your birthday. It's something you could do all the time. Imagine going to the same place twice and be like, wait, weren't you here last month? Wasn't your birthday last month? Yuki, I don't know if you heard my story on that.
Yeah. I did. Sorry. I was. There was something I wanted to mention just because I do have to get going soon, Johnny.
Yeah, me too.
But someone had mentioned they want to talk to me after, so you can definitely, anyone can always reach out to me and talk to me. You could find me. You can make an appointment with me on my website on my Calendly. But I will let you know, I just had 2 people from our group actually sign up for my services. So I'm going to be, and I usually like to not take on too many people at once. I'll probably just not, maybe I'll take on one more client or something. But for a few weeks, for a month, I'll probably just, work on getting, them adjusted to the program. But yeah, definitely reach out though. I'm always a free resource as far as information.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jonathan, I gotta get moving.
Yeah.
So I will see you guys next week.
So Yuki, I'll type in the chat. Yuki's email is Yuki@notary.
Yeah, you can email me any questions you have. Sure.
Notary Public Marketing.
Yeah, and we have office hours tomorrow, right? I don't know if all of you guys have heard about office hours, but Jonathan does office hours where we do it together. And Will might be there. Will's there usually. So we'll help you with any questions or qualms you have. That's your chance to get at us and have more personal attention.
Yeah, Kim, it was great to have you here. And again, if you're needing help with your Google Business profile, come tomorrow to office hours. I'll help you out. 5:15, same time. And if you guys saw the post, we have a bunch of people in the challenge. I decided to make it not like a end date, but based on the time you submitted your review. So I think if you're still interested in the challenge, send us a text. This is the number you would send a text to. You text your name here, and then we'll get you set up with the challenge. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. And yeah, hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.